Hey guys, it's Alina here, and today, obviously, we're going to talk about this, my new hair. So in this video, we're going to talk about my hair, how I came to this decision, the whole process of it, and just kind of give you my insight if you're interested in doing such a drastic change like this in the future. So let's just jump on in. Alright, so I tend to be a very impulsive person, but this was actually a time that I was not impulsive. For the longest time, I've always had the desire to do something like very drastic. I was always afraid of bleaching my hair, the damage. I've never gotten highlights. I've never done anything like that. The only thing I've done with bleach is in high school, I had the black bob and I had the under part bleached. But that's just like one of those things that even if my hair decided to fall out, it's on the bottom, so nobody would really notice. But committing and bleaching your entire head just totally freaks me out. So it was one of those things that every single time I saw someone with like purple hair or colorful hair, I was always like, oh my god, your hair is so pretty, I wish I could do that. It wasn't until probably about 3 months ago where I started toying with the idea. I talked to a few people that had colorful hair before, and they were saying, you know, if you go about it the right way, you can have a healthy colored hair. So my initial idea was I was gonna do a purple ombre. So for those of you guys that don't remember what my hair looks like, this is what it looked like. It was long, it was brown. I was gonna have the brown hair and then it go into a purple ombre. That was the initial like plan. I had received a few recommendations of where to go and all that stuff, but I just never followed through with them. And then one day I was kind of going through Instagram and I kept finding these pictures of this girl that had like this crazy colorful hair. She basically had done every single color, and I was just like, wow, her hair looks really, really nice, really healthy and all that. So I was like toying with the idea, and I went to two of my friends and I was like, I'm gonna do this. And I'm the kind of person that when I say I'm going to do something, I need to do it tomorrow, because if not, I lose interest or I overthink it and then I obsess about it and talk myself out of it. And let me tell you, I went through a few of those moments throughout this time period. So we're about like 2 months away. This was early July. We call up the place and the earliest I can get in is like 3 weeks later, and I'm like, that's a long time. And it's for a consultation, because they asked us, they're like, okay, what does she need and all that, and we were just like, we have no idea what it's going to entail, so let's just do a consultation. So I go in for the consultation. I meet Annette, who was like amazing, and I instantly got like a good vibe. And honestly, it was kind of like a sign, because when I first came in to the salon, she was doing purple on someone else's hair. The reason why she came so highly recommended is because that particular salon does a lot of color and funky colors as well. It's the kind of thing that you want to go to someone that's used to working with funky colors, because you're putting a color on top of technically another color, so you have to be really good at knowing what that color is going to look like. Because if you put blue on top of yellow, what do you get? Green. And we met with the consultation, and at that point I hadn't dyed my hair for a month. For those of you guys that haven't heard in a million videos, I started going gray years and years ago, and not like all over, just in certain parts. So I've had to dye my hair, and I've basically been dyeing it my same hair color, like the closest box variety that I could find. I purposely didn't dye my hair because I wanted her to see what my natural color was, and also, you know, I knew that the more I dyed it, the more the bleach would have to lift up. So when she saw my hair, she was like, how have you been dyeing it? And I'm like, I've been dyeing it at home. And she was like, oh my gosh. She was very concerned because apparently when you use box dye at home, box dye is super, super harsh. It really, really takes a hold, and especially if you do it more than once, it just kind of like piles on, and it makes it really, really hard to remove the color and really, really damaging. And the thing especially about box dye, if you've ever read the instructions, which most people don't, it specifically says if you're like redoing the color consistently that you're only supposed to put it on your roots for the first 20 minutes, and then you put it on the rest of your hair for the last like 5 minutes. Most people would just put it on their entire head, and that kind of like messes things up, because your hair that's dyed, it's already really porous, so it's going to take that color really good. The top, like your roots, are going to need more time. So if you are continuously putting the color on for the total amount, you're just damaging your hair more and just making that color more and more permanent into your hair. So she was kind of really hesitant, and she was just like, oh, she saw the pictures I was going for, and she's like, I don't know if I can get you to that point. At that point, we thought I was probably gonna have to grow my hair out. and I was like so disappointed. But she said, look, let's make an appointment for you to come back. We'll do a strand test and we'll go from there. A strand test is basically when they take a chunk of hair and bleach it or test out that particular color or treatment or whatever and see how your hair reacts to it. So the point of the strand test was to see if we could in fact lift the color without damaging the hair too much. So I went ahead, I made the appointment. Once again, it was like a 3-week wait. She's like very in demand. I was like, oh my gosh, another 3 weeks for this. I made the commitment that day that I wasn't gonna dye my hair anymore. I didn't care that my grays were coming out or whatever. I was just gonna deal with it, because if the strand test didn't work, I was just gonna keep letting my hair grow out so that I could have the virgin uncolored hair so that we could get this going. Fast forward to early August, I went in for the strand test. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I went in, she took like a little chunk from right here. And if you guys saw my Instagram, there were like a few photos where I had this random blonde streak, which I actually kind of dug. You know, it was a little funky. She put the bleach in my hair. I sat for a few minutes and she kept checking on me. She was really good about that. And she was just like, oh my God, it's lifting. Once she was satisfied with how much the color lifted, we rinsed it out and she was surprised with how well it lifted. It lifted pretty evenly. It wasn't like super patchy, and the hair actually had good integrity. So she was like, I think we can do this. So I was like, yay, super excited. So we made the appointment again. It was like another 3 weeks and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. We made the appointment. It was gonna be like a super long day, like a 4-hour block of time. So during this time period, I was doing my research and I was figuring out if I wanted to do this, how this was gonna affect my hair, how I could keep my hair healthy, you know, the different ways to go about it. And I came across an article that was talking about something called Olaplex, which is something that they can use in a salon that helps minimize the damage of the bleaching or the chemical treatment. When we were making the appointment, she was mentioning about how when we were doing the full treatment, the full hair, that we were gonna use Olaplex and all that stuff. And I was like so pumped, because not all salons use Olaplex. I highly recommend, if you're planning on doing like an all over bleaching or anything like that, lightening your hair, have them use Olaplex, because it really helps counteract the negative effects of bleaching or any sort of chemical treatment. So the day of the appointment, I go in. I was so nervous. I couldn't sleep the night before. I was really hesitant. I was unsure. I was scared that it wasn't gonna look good on me. I was scared that it just wasn't gonna turn out right, or my hair was gonna fall off or whatever. We went in and we just started going to town. She used very small segments of hair, so I had tons of foils in my hair, and she just started from the bottom up. And basically what she did, which just goes to show you how well she knew what she was doing, she asked me how long it had been since I dyed my hair. She looked at the regrowth, which is how much of my roots had come in, and then she applied the bleach initially to all the dyed part, but not on my roots. And the reason for that is because my roots would have ended up white and the rest of my hair would have ended up blonde. Obviously your virgin hair is gonna the color's gonna come off. Very awesome. So she did that. So that's why it was such a long process, because she had to do all that all the way to the front. And then by the time she was done with the front, the back part was ready to get rinsed out. So I had to get the bottom part rinsed out before the top part. Like, I was in the sink for a while because it didn't make sense to go back and forth, my hair wet and all that. So she put the toner in, and then we had to go back and do the roots. That whole process, I mean, such amazing patience. I will admit I was terrified when I saw my hair blonde, because I look awful as blonde. Ugh. Never. But I was super pumped with how the color lifted, and she was very happy with it as well. So she put the bleach on the roots, and then we did the whole process again. And then, bada bing, bada boom, we went back, and then it was time for the color. So she applied the color all over my hair, and then she put like a plastic bag on my head, not all the way over, but on my head. And then she put me under one of those little hair dryer things, just to kind of speed up the coloring process. And then I sat under, I can't remember how long it was. So the color was rinsed out, and I still hadn't seen what it looked like, and everyone kept passing by and saying like, oh my gosh, such a nice color, whatever. I was so scared to look in the mirror, super scared. So when I finally did, I was so shocked. It's definitely a lot brighter than I thought it was gonna be. Mainly it's because if you have a certain color in mind, which my color was like a lavender, you have to go a little darker, because what happens if you go straight for the color you want, then when it fades, it's just gonna be super caca. But if you go a little darker, a little brighter, then when it fades, you're gonna have more of the time of the color that you really like. But this color's actually growing on me, and I kind of dig it. It still kind of shocks me in the mirror because I'm not used to it yet, but it's still really exciting, and it's something like I've never done. So when she removed the bleach, she was tugging on a strand, and hairstylists do that so they can see what the integrity of the hair is. If it stretches, if it breaks, how it's doing. And she was so blown away with how well my hair felt. And it feels amazing. It feels exactly like my hair did before. It doesn't feel like crunchy, it doesn't feel damaged. I mean, I'm telling you, the Olaplex does amazing, amazing. And the other part of it is I don't blow dry my hair, so heat is so damaging to hair. She was telling me she's seen people that don't put any color in their hair, but they constantly blow dry it, and their hair is just as damaged as someone that has color treated hair. So yeah, I was super, super happy and super relieved that my hair wasn't damaged after all of that, like, bleaching. Normally it would be super damaged. Like, as you can see, it's like really, really nice, and it's soft, and you can run your fingers through it. It's amazing. She did an incredible job. I am super pumped about my hair. Oh, the reason I chose purple is because purple is my favorite color, and I just felt like I would enjoy this color the most, just because I tend to wear a lot of colors that complement it. I wear a lot of purple makeup. Purple's my favorite color, so I figured this was the color to go to. And I do have some other ideas of colors that I want to do, so stay tuned. You know, this is definitely something that is a big commitment, and you don't want to just do it for like a party next week and then change your hair back, because, you know, it is really damaging to your hair. It does cost a lot of money and all that stuff. My huge recommendations, if you're considering something like this, is definitely don't be impulsive. Take the time to do your research, take the time to find the right salon, the right fit. You should feel like the person has your best interests at heart and they're not trying to just get your money. Because this came from like a personal recommendation, that really made me feel a lot better. And then the consultation, I met her and I just totally clicked with her. She was like, I love your lipstick. And I was like, oh, it's the Kat Von D, like liquid lipstick. And she was like, oh, I love Kat Von D. We immediately had a connection, and that is super important when you're gonna have someone do something so drastic to your hair. The other thing is get a consultation, and I would highly recommend doing a strand test. Most salons will do that kind of thing for free, the consultation, the strand test. If someone is willing to just go ahead and bleach your entire head and put color in it without having a consultation or a strand test, run, because the problem is you don't know how the hair is going to react, and God forbid you have a huge horror story in your hands. Just Google it. There are so many horror stories out there, which is why I was kind of like super nervous. But that way you have no surprises. It's very clear what you want. You have time to think about it, even though like you may want to just do it. It's something that you definitely want to have time to think about. And also realize that it is a commitment, because you will have to go in and get, you know, your roots bleached and then the color retouched and all that. So it is a commitment. It's not something that you just can do and then that's it. So yeah, definitely think about all of that. As far as the care afterwards, I did get a special shampoo that's sulfate free and perfect for, you know, this kind of intense processing. I haven't used it yet because I was just there yesterday, so my hair is still clean. But my plan is to really rely on dry shampoo. I know I already do, but try to rely on it even more and really stretch my hair in between washes so that I don't keep washing out the color, because this kind of color is not permanent. It is semi-permanent, so it washes out over time. So the more you wash it, the quicker it fades. So I really want to stretch it out as much as possible. Yeah, that's my plan. I am super happy with my hair. I am so pumped about it. It came out even better than I could even imagine, and I'm so happy that I found Annette and the Luxe The Color Lounge, and I absolutely love them. They are amazing. So if you're in the South Florida area, I highly recommend them. So I will keep you guys posted on my hair journey. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to give it a big thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other videos. Hope you guys have a good one. See ya!